Welcome to the Spirit of Doom.
Welcome, dear listeners, and gratitude for tuning into another edition of The Spirit of Doom, a bi-weekly show exclusive to Radio East River, airing Mondays and Fridays at 10 a.m. South African Standard Time, with me, David John Wayne Bailey, your host and guide, as we embark upon a journey to bridge the gap between thought and action. Today's topic is do. What daily activities do you do to achieve your desired life? So, if you've stuck around with me thus far, we've went through the various stages. We went through accept, visualize, declare, and now quite possibly the most critical step, to do. So what has happened thus far? You've set your eyes on a target. The year is quickly reaching its end. We are at the end of November. We're moving into December, the big days as they call it. Festive season. You set yourself targets and goals. Did you accept responsibility for the goal? Did you visualize the outcome that goal would take? Did you declare to yourself or to someone important or someone pivotal and instrumental to the goal you seek to achieve? If you did all of that, it's time to do. It's time to follow the necessary actions to accomplish that goal. So let's go back. If this was a goal that you set for yourself in the past, and you followed the steps, and you did what you were supposed to do, and the goal failed. Let's speak about failure for a few moments. Why did it fail? Was it a personal decision? What did you do or didn't you do to have it fail? If it succeeded, what did you do to have it succeed? Accept, visualize, declare, do. The show is called The Spirit of Do. So let's talk about the power of do. Allow me to elaborate a bit on the power of do. You know, when we think about things in our mind, especially if it's new things that's going to stretch our capabilities or test us for the first time, something that we've never done before, it's usually a bit scary. And as we move past the fear and move with the fear, there's a certain amount of excitement or giddiness accompanied with it, right? The critical action is the space in between. We need to address the fear of the unknown especially, with action. And how do we do that? Exactly that. We do. So when we test what we think we know, with guaranteed action that is physical, real, measurable, then we are putting that fear to the test. The fear can only exist in our minds, and it's an illusion that we create for ourselves that we have to test, because only through testing it would we know whether it's real or not. Fear, F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. We've heard that before, right? So how do we test that? If it's false evidence, how do we test it? We test it through action. Physical, mental, spiritual, emotional action. We have to do to know whether it can be done or not. I can share a whole bunch of quotes with you with regards to the doing, but I'm sure deep down in your subconscious, in your unconscious, in your being, you do know that there are things that you are supposed to do, and that is the only way that you will know whether it can be done. So don't scare yourself into just giving up, into not attempting it at all. Go for it. Do it. Just do it. Yes, that's the Nike slogan. Very apt. Just do it. And that's the power of do. That's the power of do that I have, that you have, that everyone surrounding you has. It's the only way we bridge the gap between thought and action. Through doing, by doing, we unlock deeper levels of ourselves. Sometimes we may even surprise ourselves. Because if you attempt something that you have never done before, you then bring imagination or unreality into this reality. And what didn't exist before, you just brought into existence. So it's a superpower. If you think it and you imagine it and you dream it and you're brave enough and courageous enough to test it, accept, visualize, declare, the next step is to do. So I would implore you this morning as you're listening to my voice. There's something that's been weighing on your mind, on your conscious, that you've been wanting to do for the longest time. Don't have to tell me what it is. When you're following the steps, you will declare to someone at some point. For now, declare to yourself. Go out there and do it. It might not be as, I can almost guarantee you, that it won't be as scary as you think it is. Quote of the day. Rather, before we get to the quote of the day, allow me to share an excerpt from my book, AVDD. On the chapter dealing with do. To do is divine, for through action I breach the realm of the gods. I make known my intention by acting on it and making it manifest in this reality, with my own two hands. While words are important, deeds leave the most lasting impression. Words without action is meaningless, which stands to reason that if you are unable to follow up with the necessary action, you must hesitate to speak the words, or even better yet, not speak them at all. Famous women's rights activist Sojourner Truth is credited as saying, if women want any rights more than they've got, why don't they just take them and not be talking about it? This epitomizes the spirit of doing. Often I dangled on the precipice of spoken words which flow easily when one is loath to act, and inevitably I would be compelled to take some form of action. Our inaction shall eventually be perceived as action, for in doing nothing, a choice is made. And when sides are chosen, neutrality benefits the aggressor. Always. Quote of the day. Attributed to Sam Walton. Appreciate everything your associates do for the business. Nothing else can quite substitute for a few well-chosen, well-timed, sincere words of praise. They're absolutely free and worth a fortune. Gratitude for tuning into this week's edition of The Spirit of Do, with me, your host and guide, David John Wayne Bailey on Radio Yesterday. I look forward to spending some quality time with you again this coming Friday at 10 a.m. South African Standard Time. Oh, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on the show. So feel free to reach out to me via email, david@radioyesterday.co.za, or Twitter and Instagram at davbai83, DAVBAI83. Till then, keep doing what you're passionate about. Love and inner peace.